Well, hello, Mgtow. This is Mgtow Jesus, and I've got a little bit of news for you. Recently, Mayor of Mgtown um, told everyone about what was going on Wikipedia, and that shit was accomplished. Good job. Shout out to Mayor of Mgtown. But this is the one that I had first discovered, which was rationalwiki. When I looked up Mgtow, I just want to see what wiki had on it. Rationalwiki was also on there. I clicked on that one on accident. So this is where I had first seen the Mgtow description, and then the Wikipedia one, obviously. Um, but I tried to edit this, and I got blocked for quote unquote unfunny vandalism. Yeah, okay. Anyways, as I can help you discover that the person that edited this, that made this, is strongly feminist or has no clue about Mgtow and has preferred to make Mgtow in a bad light. But it's Rational Wiki. Who gives a shit? In the first thing here, it says that movements offshoot of men's rights, male separatism, basically because MGTOWers buy into the rhetoric of men's rights advocates. Okay, and society is actually biased against men, which it is, but instead of trying to address these alleged issues, they have vowed to either stay away from women altogether to stop marrying them and having children. Yeah, good job. That's basically where you need to end this. In other words, oh, here we go. It's hilarious analog to lesbian separatism movement, but without homosexuality, as MGTOWers don't believe men should become gay as an element of further rebellion. Okay, fine. We'll leave it up there. But a hilarious analog to lesbian separatism. I don't see that connection, but okay. This is where I first tried to edit, was under power. Here it says, it's unclear if the movement has any power beyond disgruntled douchebags talking shit about women on the internet. Obviously, we've changed. Obviously, that image was the first thing people got because men were talking about women, and you just weren't supposed to do that. And the reaction of women, of people who come across their posts online largely tends to be, go your own way and stop whining. Yeah. About 2 years ago, sure. Because people didn't see the issues that we were going through. Okay? People didn't see that. It didn't click yet. So they're like, well then fine, quit whining. And then when they realized, oh God, oh wow, yeah, this shit is really happening. And when it happens to them, suddenly they're like, wait a second, what's going on? Now it says the going their own way part is often framed not just as manly self-preservation, but as a strike that's supposed to punish women. Okay, we're not trying to punish women. In the worldview of all too many MGTOWers, women are succubus-like creatures who seduce men into exploiting them, but are unable to support themselves without men to exploit. Okay, it's worth mentioning there's a strong whiff of misogyny wafting around many in the movement. Let's talk about that for a second. Okay, first off, we're not trying to punish women. What I've noticed is that women say they're financially independent, that they're this, they're that, and they're just as capable. Fine. Well, you know what? You want to act like a man? I'm going to treat you like a man. You say you're just as capable? Then go be capable. You're financially independent? Then pay your own bills. I'm not going to buy you drinks, and I'm going to split the bill. If that means I don't get to have sex with you, I don't care anyway. That that just further proves my point that you're basically a prostitute. If because I didn't pay for your lunch, I'm not going to get a piece of that ass. I don't want it. Okay. And that, anyways, and it says down here, it's worth mentioning that there's a strong whiff of overt misogyny wafting around many in the movement. Uh-huh. You call it misogyny, I call it red pill rage. I don't hate women. I don't hate all women at all. I don't hate women. I have a daughter. I don't hate her. Okay? That's what misogyny is. All right? I don't hate her. And a lot of times it's just guys that are just angry. Well, let's think about that for a second. These guys are what, in their late teens or early 20s coming into this world and saying, oh shit, nothing is like I was taught. They're being taught mostly by their single moms that if you want to be if you want approval from society, if you want to be respected as a male, then you have to look this way, talk this way, act this way, think this way, work this way, and hold these beliefs above all others. And then when they go out there and they protect women and they try to be strong men and they try to work hard and they try to look a certain way and act a certain way, talk a certain way, think a certain way, believe, listen and believe and defend and all this, and then they're thrown out or they're thrown aside, they're used up like utility or a busted ATM and thrown in the garbage, kicked through the dirt, you know, they wake up, find their dick in the dirt and go, this is fucked up. This is nothing like you told me it was going to be. Why do I put up with this? Why am I subscribing to this? I'm being treated like a fucking slave. And that's why they're pissed. So it's not overt misogyny. It's men waking up going, oh, I am no longer going to subscribe to this servitude anymore. You think it's hatred? No. It's just waking up and leaving the plantation. Now, there are amusing parallels here, a notion of going galt that is popular among libertarians who overestimate their importance in the grand scheme of things. We don't overestimate our importance, but go ahead and look outside. Go look at the streets. Go look at the buildings. Go look at everything in society. The construction work that's been done, the systems in place for everything, our government, our travel system, our economy, our market system, everything. That's men. That's men, and that's engineers and designers and thinkers. And these men are the ones that you treat like absolute garbage. So maybe they should go galt, and then we can let your buildings start to mold over, your streets start to get worn out from water and potholes and erosion, and your system and your economy starts to drop because no one's unloading the trucks and no one's moving things around and no one's, making the decisions that need to be made and doing the labor that needs to be done. And then you might go, holy crap. But you know what? We can't. We can't make every single man drop their hammer and walk away. It's just not realistic. But if we can help men realize that their value in society is much greater than people like you would try to make them think, then maybe they'll start respecting that value a little bit more to themselves and start holding that value in their hearts and saying, we are important. And I'm not going to be treated this way anymore. And who knows, we might just see a change. Maybe it won't be 85% homeless of being men. Maybe we won't have a 300% higher suicide rate as women do. Maybe, we might have some self-fucking respect. Moving on. So here, he's perhaps telling that despite professing to go their own way, they seem utterly incapable of stopping talking about women in their internet fora. Okay. You know what? They are the topic of a lot of our conversations, but a lot of times it's a topic of feminism, or it's a topic of family court, or it's a topic of religion, or it's a topic of our just a societal history and how we've evolved. A lot of times it's a topic of many of those things that relate to Mgtow. It doesn't always have to relate to women, and it certainly, preferably, doesn't relate to women, because we just don't care. Now this one really got me right here, and thankfully they put MRA in this one, but many MRA memes pop up in the narratives, including the good guy loser, bad boy player, men are the oppressed gender, friend zone, blah blah blah, exaggerated misogyny, or misandry, which I'll cover, and social justice warriors everywhere. Clearly the best way to deal with these procedure-invented problems is to reinforce one of those delusions by talking about them all the time. Alright, let's back up. So let's talk about this right here. Oh, I'm sorry, and doing so in a funky-smelling basement where women, no matter how many beg to get in, are not allowed. Sure. Okay, this meme thing. All right, let's talk about that for a second. Make sure you guys can see it. There it is. The good guy loser, successful bad boy player. Do you know why we're not MRA? Because that right there is pussy begging. That right there is making an argument and announcing our frustration. That, well, I'm a good guy and I don't get laid, and all these women are out there banging bad guys, and then they wonder where the good guys went. You know what? I don't need their approval. I don't need female approval. I don't need their validation. I don't need them to stick their ass in the air for me to feel like I'm a man. That is why we don't subscribe to the MRA, because they will talk about men's rights and they'll talk about men's rights issues and things of that nature, and then put out something like this, which is pussy begging to me. And it's sad. That's why Mgtow are no longer with them. And that is why their 40-year track record of failure can be attributed to this. And this is why men have simply said, look, it's not working. Society simply will not listen to us, and they will not take it seriously, so we're fucking done. And that men are the oppressed gender, friend-zoned, exaggerated misandry, unstoppable man-hate. Okay, let's talk about that for a second. There's nothing exaggerated about what's been going on. Look at your schools. Look at the feminized education. Look at the sitcoms that you watch, like Everybody Loves Raymond or King of Queens, and etc. There's many more. Let's look at the soap operas. Let's look at commercials, movies, radio stations, all of that stuff. is making men look like buffoons, idiots, immature, incapable, and that they need a woman to come in and guide them and protect them and show them the way and keep them on track. Because without a woman, they would just all lay around eating pizza and farting in their underwear. No. Okay? Stop it. And that's the problem is it's unstoppable because society is so built around the spending power of women, but they once again depend on the production power of men. So men make the money and women spend the money. So they're gonna make commercials that bash men to make women feel like, oh yeah, I want to buy this product. It's sad. It just is what it is. Now, the best way to deal with these perceived or invented problems, you're insinuating that what we're talking about isn't real. So far, I've offered you nothing but empirical evidence. Okay? It's perceived or invented problems. Get the fuck out of here. Is to reinforce one another's delusions by talking about them all the time and doing so in a funky smelling basement. Oh, okay. That was excessive. Where women are not allowed. Okay, let me explain something to you about that. First off, I have a 3-bedroom apartment. I have a decent little car. I have my own life together. A lot of these men do better than me. They have 4-bedroom houses all to themselves in nice little suburbs. They have everything they could want. These are not basement dwelling, neck bearded fat asses. Okay, that you want to try to put in people's light as a negative thing. What's embarrassing is if they are in a funky smelling basement, it's probably because they can't talk about this stuff in earshot because it would be considered misogyny if they talked about this stuff in earshot. So you take that funky basement smelling whatever thing you got going on, you take that with you. Because even, let's say I was a married man, guess where I'd have to be if I wanted to have my own space and I'd wanted to talk about these things? Well, I can't do it in the living room, that's my wife's. I can't do it in the dining room, that's my wife's. I can't do it in the kitchen or the bedrooms, that's my wife's. Oh, I know where I could do it. In the garage, in the basement, or the attic. Men in the household have been shoved into these little dirty, dark places where it's because women have taken over the male space inside the home. It's not shared. It's not a shared space for cohabitation. This is why men usually have to resort to doing things in the basement or the garage because they can't be in earshot of a woman when they talk about this stuff. They could lose their jobs. So don't tell me. Don't try to spin this as some thing where we're all just a bunch of recluses. It has nothing to do with this. Moving on. Asian women. Occasionally, Mgtowers who support marriage, okay, that's right there is an oxymoron. Mgtowers don't support marriage. That's an MRA. Will advocate that Western men try marrying Asian women instead. No, we don't. And here's his reasons as to why we would advocate this. As they are apparently more demure and submissive. Asian American feminists, oh, here it comes. Asian American feminists and other decent human beings are wholly disgusted. Okay. You know what? I'm a decent human being, and I was married to an Asian woman, and it was horrifying. So, no, I think it's disgusting too. However, a Mgtow will not tell men, hey, you should go over to Philippines and get you a little Philippine wife. That'll work. No, it doesn't work. As soon as they get over here, they assimilate the Western culture society and just start abusing men. And, sorry, we don't advocate it. We don't advocate marriage, and we certainly don't advocate the sex trade. And we certainly don't advocate that you go over there and marry some mail order bride or some shit. That's an MRA that brought up that. In fact, Sandman a couple of years ago had put out a video telling men the whole thing about, if you think going somewhere else in the world to find a Nawalt, to find that perfect wife, it doesn't exist. This is what's really going to happen, and you're not going to be happy. So, no, we don't advocate that. We don't advocate marriage at all. As are the Mgtows who are also frequent Stormfront. I haven't been on Stormfront to know what the hell that's about, but maybe I should start getting in all these communities. I just don't have the time, the energy to sit here and tackle everything. But I thought once I got blocked off of here, by correcting these things, I knew I had to say something. Locking heads with the MRA community. While a number of things in common, notably including obsession with references to the 90s movie Matrix, which I can explain, the MRA and Mgtow communities have been known to butt heads. Yeah, because we get lobbed in with shit like this. That's why we have a problem with the MRA. Okay? Anyways. Keep the men's rights activists take issue, especially with Mgtows who choose to keep their distance from them with regards to marriage and making children. Yeah, that's because we don't subscribe to marriage. Unlike up here, where the MRA do this kind of thing, which is pussy begging, that's why we don't fucking work with them. Okay. Then he talks about Stefan Molyneux, who has kind of basically, his own selfish blah, 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 blah. One of the leading figures in the MRA movement has been very vocal in being against the Mgtow community. He's taken issues, especially with the refusal to engage in marriage and have children. Regarding the latter, he's been especially noteworthy in remarking that refusing to give birth to children is selfish, despite himself being a stalwart advocate of purely selfish behavior. There's so much doublethink in these three sentences. I can't. These three sentences, it's like a circular thing. This one fights Mgtow, then this one reinforces and then, okay. Anyways, I'm not sure if this guy even reads his own shit. So real quick, the reference to the 90s movie The Matrix, that's where the whole red pill rage, blue pill, mangina, all that kind of stuff comes from. It's because if he took the blue pill, it's just a metaphor. If he took the blue pill, he'd stay in Wonderland. He'd stay in the false reality that he's valuable or that he's somehow in control or whatever, as they would like you to believe. And when she takes the red pill, you wake up and see things for what they really are and can actually start making a change in your own life. So that's where the whole red pill, blue pill thing comes from. And it's just a great metaphor that everyone can get behind, everyone can understand. That's where that comes from. But yeah, we take issue with Stefan Molyneux if he tries to, he goes against Mgtow, but we don't care only because, once again, it comes back to the fact that we are not pussy beggars. Okay? So this whole thing, like, you guys should make children, you're just selfish, you're just not ready to wake up, you're just not ready to grow up, you're just a bunch of man children. You know what? That's a bunch of shame speech. That's a bunch of shame tactics, and we just don't fall for it. We don't subscribe to it. We don't eat it up anymore. But I'd love to show you when I hit edit that I'm blocked. The problem here is that I can't. If I do, it brings up my IP address, and I would hate for to get doxxed again. I've already been through one lady coming out of nowhere and screwing over my job. I don't need to be radioactive. But anyways, I just want to leave you with that. Thanks for listening. I'm sorry if this video went a little long. Until next time, guys, take care and have a wonderful new year. And let's make 2016 rock on. Until then. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and leave some comments below. I'd like to know what you guys think, and maybe someone else can get out here and get on rationalwiki and help us fix this little what do you want to call it here? Slander. I don't know what to call it slander, but this smear campaign. So let's fix that. All right, guys. Until then, this is Mgtow Jesus signing out.